In this video, I am going to be reviewing this Cycplus T3 Smart Trainer. It's very smart and it does two things better than all the competition. I'm going to let you know about it. I'm going to tell you about the weaknesses of this machine as well, and I'm going to compare it to some very popular options in this category of smart trainers. What's up everyone? FC here from E-MTB Review e-bikes, but I'm messing with trainers. Hey, why not? I do cross-country bikes and I do a little bit of road biking too, and I've had this boy right here for about 5-8 years. I've had it for a while, so I know all about this genre of smart trainers. And what is a smart trainer? It really woke me up because trainers are kind of awful, right? They're just a bad experience. But with smart trainers, what happens is the trainer can respond to the rider and can respond to an input, which is usually an app, you know, a phone app or a computer app. So you can simulate riding the App de Huez, and the smart trainer is gonna give you a workout, and the possibilities are endless. I used to duplicate my local climb, Old La Honda Road, on this trainer, and basically it told me my wattage output, and the time that I got climbing the virtual world of Old La Honda was about the same as the real world. So I could train in the comfort of my own home instead of getting out there in nature. Maybe that's not so good, but it is sustainable. You can do it all day, every day. Okay, before we talk about this guy right here, they are a new player. The established ones are Wahoo. There's also Garmin's line of trainers. There's also TAC-X, and also this company called Saris, which used to make racks, but they got in this thing as well. And they're all around $1,000 for this level of trainer. And to get the experience out of these trainers, you really have to sign up with an app. The most popular one is Zwift, and there's also Trainer Road, and I think there's a Garmin or a Wahoo as well. So you need a virtual world so you can train like the real deal, and these trainers can give you a workout. You can draft someone and you'll feel the lightness of the pedal as soon as you get in that aerodynamic zone. You can climb a mountain and you will really just get your butt kicked on these trainers, but in a natural way. It's a very natural feeling ride. So these are heavy machines. So this one is about 42 pounds. 40. All right, very heavy devices, these things, because they have a very heavy flywheel, usually a 20-pound flywheel, and that simulates the road motion, the road momentum or inertia. So you're coasting. You know, when you get on a road bike and you stop pedaling, isn't it nice when they coast for a while? These things coast too because they have this massive flywheel that have tremendous weight. So what Cycplus did, they're a very good engineering company, is they said, oh, we're going to work on the form factor. So really the whole trainer is this little slab right here. That's the trainer. That's what you're paying for. $10.99 for this thing, but you do have a coupon code, $200 off, and the whole thing, the rest is a stand. So it's actually portable, and what they have here is a flywheel, I think probably a 20-pound flywheel as well, and a motor. They have a brushless motor. So this is direct drive. So it goes directly to your chain. There's no interface with the tire, which is what makes for an awful experience and a noisy experience. So these are the quietest trainers around. And what they did is they said, okay, we are going to integrate the motor right into the body and the flywheel. So it's all in one. And that makes this kind of the most space efficient trainer and the quietest trainer around. And these legs spread out wide, so it's very stable. Okay, so I'm going to show you a lot of video. I've been riding this for 2 weeks, both on road and mountain. And what's funny is I bought a road bike because back in the day when I was doing trainers, it was only the road bikes worked well. There's some, so I bought one for $100, but it's awesome getting into it. But I find out later, I put my that the standards on the rear hub have standardized, and this thing comes with all the adapters: 130, 135, disc brake, caliper, and mountain bikes 142, I think, and then boost 148. So it's all there, and it works. It works with Shimano. It works with SRAM, XD driver. You do have to get a separate XD driver. And why is form factor important? It's because there's not a lot of space here. There's a disc caliper that you're messing with. There's a motor here. bikes have different widths. Some are narrow, some are wide. So they made it as streamlined as possible, as opposed to all the other guys, which have a flywheel off to the side and a belt that's driving the whole thing. And the belt is okay, but it causes noise, and it causes the need for adjustment every so often. Okay, so here it is. I'll show you some video, and I'll talk you through me testing it on my road bike. My first observation was how quiet it was. Darn quiet. So according to the tests, the most quiet ones are the Wahoo Kickr, this one I have, and I believe the Garmin is super quiet. It's hard to test because you don't know how much power you're going, but I think these guys tested at 20 miles an hour, and they said they're the quietest. They're like 3 decibels more quiet than the Wahoo. So that is his first category killer, the most quiet trainer around. Direct drive is already quiet, but the motor is quiet as well. It's a brushless motor, and there is no belt, so there's nothing in there to make noise as you put the power on. The other thing they do is they do 2800 watts. So they've had a T1, T2, and T3, and let me tell you, I think their journey has been a little bit of a struggle. T2 was not so good, not well received by the YouTubers because they were able to overheat it. This one, T3, now has 2800 watts of power that this thing delivers. And why do you need all that power? I think they measure it at 25 miles an hour. When the rider is going 25 miles an hour, can they put it on a slope, and how much can the motor resist so that the rider giving 2800 watts will get the full resistance of this guy. This thing won't overheat. So let me tell you, 1000 watts is a lot of power, even on a sprint. So let's just say that this has more than enough power for you, me, and everyone combined. The true thing that sets it apart is all these smart trainers, they need a power source. So you have a brick adapter, you plug it in the back, and now it's working. But what that does, because you have to power that motor to give you that resistance and that realism. So the Cycplus, its real secret sauce, magic so to speak, is it doesn't need power. You can have power and it'll give you the full experience, but if you don't have power, it will use its own power. So check this out. So this is the evidence. As I turn this, you see that red light, blue light, that's Bluetooth and whatnot. It says, okay, I read your power and I'm gonna store it. So it probably has some batteries and capacitors in here that's saying, hey, you're generating a lot of power. I'm gonna use it to fight you later on. So very, very smart. I think it's a future. The only thing that you don't get when you use no adapter is you don't have coast. So coast requires a lot of power. It requires, coast means when you stop pedaling, it'll keep spinning for another 20, 30 seconds, depending on how fast you were going, and then when you pick it right back up, it's pretty darn cool. It's just like a normal bike. You don't have to start from zero. So that's coast. When you're not using any power adapter or grid power, there's no coast. So that's the downside. But everything else is the same. It responds to undulations, drafting and sprints. Everything's the same. And what I'm finding out is when you're training on Zwift and these other apps, you don't really coast. You're just going the whole time. It's very well ventilated, very quiet, and as you can see here, it's very well built. Everything, overseas company, but everything is to exacting standards. It has Bluetooth and plus, I'm not sure if it has Wi-Fi, but it's got all the connections, super easy with Zwift, and it does come with this huge mat that's come in very handy. Not only do you keep your hardwood floors clean or your other floors, but it takes the sweat, and it also gives shock absorption. It smooths out the ride. Has very tall feet because those actually give a little bit of movement as well. You don't want a trainer that's ultra rigid because you're always moving, and your bike's gonna take a lot of that force. You want that absorbed, and you want it more natural anyway. What are the weaknesses of this thing? I would say it's two weaknesses and maybe a third one. The first weakness is there's no height adjustability. So I noticed on my mountain bike the seat angle changed a little bit because this was a little lower than what I was used to. On the Wahoo, they're able to give you some height adjustment. So no height adjustment on this. So you might have to angle your seat a little bit differently depending if you have a different bike. The second weakness I would say is the price. The price is $10.99. It's pretty competitive, but the trainer kind of category has really tanked post-COVID, and people don't have a lot of money right now for toys. So if it was like $6.99 or something, oh man, this thing will fly off the shelves. Because this is an overseas company. This is not Garmin. This is not Wahoo with 200 employees in the U.S. This is a mainline China company. So even though the quality is there, you'd expect it to be a little cheaper. But I think they want to compete in the high end, and that's what they do. And the good news is it's $10.99, but they gave me a $200 coupon, so $900 for this guy. And hey, by the way, summer's almost ending. Kids are going back to school. It's time for trainer season. This thing is a powerhouse. It is quiet. It comes with all the accessories. It comes with a cassette, with a mat, and it runs without power. Now, if we can only generate that power and use it to power your house, that'd be pretty cool, huh? All right, there you go. Thanks a ton, everyone.